booked as 7 to 8, and a lot of times we've been going over like to 8:15. Whichever way, what is the feeling of the group? Is it, should we end it at 8 if the discussion goes through 8:15? So, any? Okay, fine. Okay, then we'll do it that way. When it's over.
I don't have a curfew tonight.
Oh, we won't go that late. Don't worry.
No, I'll just have to wait for it. Either way, I have to wait, or they leave. So that's okay.
So, do you want to read the daily word, Peg? And
Okay. I think I'll do Rich settling in first, meditating. Before I read the daily word, let's get comfortable in our seats. Relax our bodies. And just slow our breath. And give thanks for being here, all of us together, to share this time and this space and the healing that comes from that for all of us. And today's daily word is healing. Excuse me. Embracing my wholeness helps me heal. Whether for a medical, emotional, or relational part of my life, I find healing easier when I focus on what is right rather than what is wrong. I don't deny my problems and take every step I can to move toward solutions. Shifting my attention to the things that are going right helps me realize my wholeness, the spiritual perfection within me. I concentrate on the good and cultivate feelings of gratitude for blessings already present. I pray, giving thanks for the times my body and mind have healed from prior troubles and maladies. I feel vital energy coursing through my veins and every cell of my body responding, renewing, and expressing its full health. In this way, I know my wholeness anew. And the reading is from Proverbs. A cheerful heart is a good medicine, but a downcast spirit dries up the bones. So let's just relax and close our eyes for a minute. And going to our heart space, we give gratitude for all the healing that has come our way and all the healing that has come the way of those we love and want to see continue in the light. And with this in mind, we give great thanks, and so it is. Amen.
to the fourth principle. Ellen Davenport, in her book, defines the fourth principle as this: prayer is creative thinking that heightens the connection with God-mind and therefore brings forth wisdom, healing, prosperity, and everything good. It's also been, in the children's version, through affirmative prayer and meditation, I connect with God and bring out the good in my life. Some others have talked about this being the uplink. Prayer is the uplink, and then meditation, the downlink with divine mind. I think a lot of us sort of believe it must be easy for everybody else, but somehow for me, it's really difficult and a challenge. And Unity started out as a prayer ministry. I think I've told this story here, but let me repeat it quickly. I gave a talk. It was the first talk I ever gave at Unity Village. It was in the what's called the Fillmore Chapel. It's the only chapel or place where both Myrtle and Charles both had preached in those rooms. And at the end of it, a fellow walked up to me. I knew who he was, but elderly. He was a good friend of Charles Fillmore, and he said to me, young feller, it was a good talk, except you made one mistake. And I thought, what? You said Unity started out as an education movement. It didn't start out as an education movement. It started out as a prayer movement. I thanked him. I went and looked in the archives and everything, and he's absolutely right. Education was important, and it came soon after, but it really started out as a prayer ministry. And the first thing that was founded was Silent Unity, that great 24/7 prayer beacon. And I can see, for example, that the importance of prayer really growing. I mean, 20 years ago, if you had told me about two-way prayer, about being able to connect with the divine and then sitting with a pen and writing down what you think divine mind is saying to you, I would have thought you were, crazy. I mean, that only happens to the biggies, not to peons like me and all that. And to see my concept of prayer and all that has grown, and I do believe very strongly in two-way prayer, and that as John Denver sang, it's in every one of us to be, every one of us to be wise. But it's hard to listen to that still small voice. And I thought would be interesting, and it might be most productive if we could share with each other what aspect of this have we found really difficult. Because most of us, I don't know, a lot of us probably have visions. It must be easy for everybody else except me. And I find universally, this is not an easy sport, as it were, and it can be very, very hard. So let me share mine first, and if others would want to jump in, mine is monkey mind. I mean, that's silencing that monkey mind. Even now, still find that really, truly, truly difficult. This morning going into meditation, and I woke up early, so I didn't have to go through, get Therese ready for school and all that for a little while because I had gotten up so early. So I thought, wow, I'm going to have good time to have a good meditation. And I was thinking, 10, 15 minutes into it, Rick, you haven't even silenced the monk. It's still chattering, it's still chattering away, and the survey, which needs to get sent out, it hasn't been programmed yet. And what if you've lost it on somehow it just vanished on your computer and it's no longer there? And oh my God, can you reconstruct the whole thing from memory? And oh God, and this is how do you? So I finally was able to silence the monkey mind. But I have found really silencing that monkey mind to be really, honestly, truly difficult. Any other aspects that, and I think, Patty, you have or does somebody have the mic? Yeah. Yeah, George.
Well, one thing I'm aware of for myself, and I think this might be in general, is a natural negativity bias. Just as part of being human, part of survival, kind of looking, hey, is there danger out there, or, is it really going to be the best outcome? And so to have a positivity bias in terms of prayer, I find it really foreign for me to do this kind of affirmative prayer. I've been working at it, and I almost feel like there has been some movement with it, but to really affirmatively say, instead of just leaving it an open question for God, to say, God, this will happen, or, this is what I want, this is what's going to manifest in my life. That does not come easy to me. It doesn't. So maybe it just takes practice. Yeah.
The other challenge I have is, and I'm much better than I used to be, but prayer instead of being inside job. I'm still praying, or find myself praying to the God out there, the big old man in the sky. And so I've really have been working a lot on bringing that prayer inside and not being a beseeching prayer. And so practicing affirmative prayer has been a real gift for me. It's really, I feel like it's been a shift for me. And it's, like you said, Sunday, it's practice, practice, practice. And yeah, my monkey mind, my to-do list gets in there every time.
Good evening, everybody. It's the practice and being able. So what I try to do, and it's difficult on sometimes, but other times it's like a surrender to the silence. And I think Ellen speaks about being the ocean and a unique expression of the ocean. So what I started to do recently is when I breathe in, I'm coming back as into the ocean, and as when I'm releasing, I'm the expression of my divine wave. And so I'm just connecting with the breath, with that visualization. And so it takes the chatter away because I'm connected with the breath and with my thoughts, that vision. And it makes me feel like I'm it. I'm the one. I'm one with it all. And when I can get there, I've made conscious contact.
It's beautiful.
I've made conscious contact. And so I try, but today it was very, very hard. I got up and I just felt like I was in a scurry, like in everything. And even though I was in a scurry, I still sat and my mind was everywhere, but I just still did it, still was with it. Yeah.
Ginger.
Yeah, I should meditate more, but when I do, feel the little voice inside of me, and when I meditate, and it gives me answers that I, wasn't really aware of that I had all these answers. But I also believe in God, so I want to know what the duality is, because I should pray to God more, and I don't. I shouldn't say the word should, but I'd like to pray to God more, and because I believe in God. A lot of people here don't, but I believe there is a God of some kind or some form up there. I really believe in that. So I want to know the difference of how, or I could do both. Could I meditate and believe in the voice inside of me, but also reach out to God, when I want to know how, for courage and strength. And I know when I was in the hospital, I really believed in God. It was strong. I mean, there was no doubt. I asked somebody, they have to believe in God, to pray with me. So it wasn't like I'm believing in myself. I'm not God. I don't believe myself to be God. So I just wonder if the duality to me, I can speak as for myself, is what I feel is the higher self in me connecting with God. But I definitely don't. I feel I'm far from being God.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yeah.
Such a hard time. They say find the silence, and I find the silence, and then all I hear is I I haven't been able to get to the point where I really feel like that God is there speaking to me. I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe it's the monkey brain, but when I try to turn it off, it's just like white noise almost, I feel like. And I've tried the two-way prayer, and I feel like I force it when I write from God to me. It just like, is this somebody else? Is this God writing to me, or am I just faking it? I find it very hard to do.
Very common. And I've had the same struggle over the years. Is it me, or is it my voice I'm hearing, or am I hearing the divine? And it does take some work to clear out and to discern the difference. But I think it's doable. I do think it's possible.
Do you
How
think
about others?
it's practice? Do you think it takes practice?
Have you others tried to discern that for themselves? Yes. So you guys don't believe in God at all? I'm sorry, she was next.
Hi. Okay, what I do is I have a monkey mind too, so I do a guided meditation right before I go to bed at night, and that helps quiet my mind, and that also helps me know what is mine and what is others, because in this guided meditation we do grounding, and grounding takes the energy out of you. And I'm an empath, so I have to take others' energy out of me more so than other people, or else I feel awful at the end of the day. So that helps me know what is mine and what is someone else's, and it separates me. And then as far as prayer, my prayers always get answered my entire life. And what I think is going on is I always have the belief that my prayers are going to be answered, because even when I used to be a Christian and I was growing up, I just believed that they were going to be answered because that's what I was told, and they always were. And I knew other people that didn't, even other Christians, and they said, well, God said no. Well, I don't believe that. God gives you the desires of your heart. So the answer is always yes, but how and when is the question for me. And sometimes it takes a while. Like lately, I had a struggle, a challenge with itching, and it just stopped 3 days ago. And that was on the 29th day that I was started this EFT tapping to try to get rid of the urge to itch. And it finally worked. But I asked all sorts of people, including the Reverend, to pray for me about that. And I believe it's the power of thought is the power of prayer. And I think that's why it works.
Oh, Tom.
There's a saying in the 12-step program, fake it till you make it. Do that. Do that. And you'll get there. I like to move back to the first principle that says God is absolute good and everywhere present. So God is not a singularity. God is a ubiquitous energy that exists in everything that there is, everywhere that there is. I mean, God is in the carpet. God is in my shoes. God exists in every single atom of everything that exists anywhere in the universe. So when you pray, you have no choice but to pray to God because God just is, right? So it's not out here. It is all around us. I mean, we live in God and God lives in us.
Deepak Chopra once said that, he was walking along a path and he said, yes, God is everywhere present. He's in these stones, these pebbles. The little brook that's passing through and passing by. I think for me, that's very comforting. I may not be able to grasp it very often, but I think it's a very comforting belief. And I appreciate what you said there.
But doesn't it work a lot better than having it be something, somewhere?
Yeah.
We are part of this family and this universal organism that in fact is God.
Yes.
It's lovely.
Patty, you were going to say.
Well, from that standpoint, what I was going to say is it's not a duality because God's everywhere, inside me, out there. That's my belief. That's my belief. And I say this little kind of a prayer, kind of a mantra thing. And years ago, I was taking this class, and they talked about mala beads and saying whatever it was you're saying 108 times. And I'm embarrassed. I don't remember what the 108 refers to, but I do have mala beads. And I say this prayer. It's just 4 lines, very simple, 108 times. And it takes 11 to 15 minutes, depending on how fast I go. And I say it out loud. If I say it in my head, then my mind keeps going. So I say it out loud. And then my mind gets calmed down. I can be present. And this other thing I do, meditation is, I don't believe, just for me, don't just sitting around going om and waiting for your mind to quit. I discovered through going to Color Me Mine and painting pottery, my son and daughter-in-law came to town, and we went there about a month ago. And my daughter-in-law told me afterwards she was surprised that we didn't really talk during that time much, except, I need to get more color. And because it's meditative. And so I love to get pottery and at home when I have a chance and paint because it's meditative. My mind's not going, I'm concentrating, but at the same time, I'm present. And I feel one with God because it's something I really enjoy. So I don't believe there's, one way to pray or one way to meditate. That I know a friend that can't sit and meditate. She just walks, and that's her meditation. She doesn't, she just walks. She doesn't listen to music, which would be okay, but she's kind of in the zone when she does that. So.
I was just going to say that.
4 sentences. I say, there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now.
Okay, so I don't really pray. I just sit there and think about the nature of reality and God. And what I've lately been thinking about is this metaphor, I guess. It's like we're a drop of water in the ocean, and the drop of water is in us, and we're in it. And so it's all one, just like you were saying. And the other thing has come to me is that God is love, and that love is energy, and that energy is what spins the atoms and makes everything real. So I was thinking, I'm not really praying because I'm not asking for anything. I do affirmations, but I don't know if I'm really praying or not, but I'm contemplating and meditating.
It's beautiful. Sounds like it works. It's beautiful. One of the things I honestly feel, and I do say in prayer, I don't know the solution to this, monkey mind or whatever, but I have faith that something will come that honestly does work for me. And in terms of monkey mind, we were, my late wife Debbie and I were taking a vacation in Seattle and in Washington, and we were, up around the Puget Sound area and all that. And we look, and there's this metaphysical bookstore. And we went into this metaphysical bookstore, and they were playing music, and both of us were so struck. It was very simple Hindu chants, which were repetitive and repetitive and repetitive. And we were listening to it, and both of us, said it calmed them. The monkey mind, at least for 5 minutes, went away. And so we went to the owner of the store and said, "What were you playing?" He said, the guy is called Krishna Das. And turns out I grew up in a town called Port Washington on Long Island. Krishna Das grew up in Roslyn, one town, a nice Jewish boy too, who discovered the guru Nim Karoli Baba. Neem Karoli was Ram Dass's guru in India, and when Ram Dass came back, he wouldn't tell anybody, where or who was guru. He didn't want half of America going over, and bothering the guy. But Krishna Das went over and became a student of his, and then eventually came back and is, I think, an incredible chanter. But those very simple chants and repetitive, for me anyway, a lot of times just really silences the monkey mind, not permanently, but obviously for, at least several minutes at a time, and allows that state. I recently, it was in the last year, I finally was a piece of Philip Glass minimalist music, which I always thought was, God, duh, 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 and all of a sudden it started to work the same way that Krishna Das and those Janet, and when Janet did the prayer group at 5:30 today and played that chant, I mean, it brought back a lot of memories and brought that back. Just because something works for me doesn't mean it work for anybody else. But it hasn't silenced monkey mind permanently, but it's done a lot. And it's also, I wish I could tell you, I wake up in the morning, I'm Mr. Fearless, Mr. Spiritual, and a lot of times I wake up in the morning and a lot of, fears, and if I don't have any rational fears, I'll make, I'll make them up, but at least now I know, Rick, you haven't done your prayer meditation yet. From 12-step fellowships, I call it step 11. You haven't done which is the step of seeking to find out your higher power's will for you and having the power to carry it out. And so I may feel all these fears, but now there's something else that says inside of me, you haven't done your step 11 yet. If you do once you've done your step 11, these fears are going to go away. And so, sure as shooting, I do my morning prayer and meditation, and I find those fears go away. Not permanently, obviously, because, the old saying, you don't stay smelling sweet on yesterday's shower. I want to get Peg, because Peg is a big journal, and a lot of your prayers are done through. Can we get you? Is there a microphone we could? Oh, wait. Well,
I'll hang on for the next run. Thanks. What seems to really help me the most is journaling, because I'll wake up and, like Rick, my mind goes immediately to the anxieties of the day. What do I have to do? Da 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 da. And but journaling centers me. I'm writing, Dear Spirit, and then I just pour my heart out onto the page. Everything, concerns, fear. I get the negative out of the way, and then that makes room for the positive. But acknowledging the negative, it's there. The anxieties are there. Concerns, first thing in the morning stuff. By journaling and writing it all down, I am clearing a path for the positive. I'm opening the door. I feel I'm opening the door to God and letting God in and hearing God's voice instead of my yada, yada, yadas. And that's what really helps me ground myself and get me going in the direction I want to go for the rest of the day, hopefully. Unless I let the old stuff slip on back in, then you got to invite it back out. So what else? Do others have thoughts of this nature they'd like to share at this time?
So I had an experience exactly like what you're saying when I was like so deeply feeling grief and maybe powerlessness, and I just came to the place where it was like a deep surrender and just my total heart open and allowing the tears to flow and just really coming to this place where I had nowhere else to go. And spiritually, I was there too. And I journaled and spoke about just my heart and where I was at. And then the space was cleared. And then when I sat in the space for just to be there, I was channeled. It channeled, and I knew it wasn't me. I knew that an answer had come. Why I had experienced something a week before, which was cleansing me spiritually, emotionally, and mentally, but it was through a physical act. And without a shadow of a doubt, I know that I had connected consciously with it, with God, it with a capital I. And it channeled, it gave me the truth, and I know it with a capital T. Like, I know it. And it didn't happen, that doesn't happen very often, but I don't know, I think that it happened, and I just had to really surrender in my soul, like at a soul level. And then in meditation, I made contact, and the Spirit spoke to me. So yeah, I had that. Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else like to share on this?
I will. I don't often, well, I had something happen Sunday on meditation when Janae was doing meditation. And it was pretty powerful. I don't normally have something like this happen, but I love Janae's meditation. Just her voice, you know. And during the meditation, my sister, who passed away in May, came and sat on my lap. It was so awesome. It was so awesome. I can't even tell you. I was just like so overjoyed and excited. It was just powerful, just powerful. So that was an amazing experience for me. Yeah, that was wonderful. I know.
It's funny. I agree with Tom, but let me add this. That may be that is true. That what Tom said. It's in the carpet, and it's the force, and it's this and that. But there are times where I need, that's true. But I'm going to go. I'll go back to in economics. There may be 1,000 variables, but 1,000 variables a lot of times are too difficult to understand. So how can I collapse this to a two-variable problem, which is a distortion of reality, but it's at least what I can handle. I can handle today. And Joseph Campbell called it building a mask of God. And I think that's fine as long as you realize that. It's a mask, and I shouldn't get into a holy war with you because you won't accept my, you won't accept my mask or something like that. And one of the things which I've also loved is how in Unity we talk about a lot of times we talk about affirmative prayer. And Ellen Davenport writes, I had to realize that I had a 24/7 access to all attributes of God. And again, think of it this way as affirmative prayer, where Jesus said, when you pray, believe that you have received and you will receive. And she writes, in affirmative prayer, we are remembering who we truly are as expressions of an eternal life force on earth, and we are taking time to align our thoughts and feelings with the highest good. For me also, it has been, a way of centering on really what positive attributes I want, as Gandhi would say, the change I want to see instead of getting in anger and hatred. I love it. Marianne Williams said that early on she used to get furious and mad at people who wouldn't sign her peace petition. Yeah. But as it were, envisioning what we truly want. And Ellen says this must be really difficult for those who've been, even had a childhood of that we must grovel before the Lord, and it seems arrogant and heretical and all that. In Tulsa, the woman who ran our A Course in Miracles, wonderful woman, Darlene Rao, real grandmotherly figure. She was the daughter of a Baptist minister. And she came up to me one day and she said, Rick, when we gave up hell and damnation, we gave up a lot of bargaining power. But to think about what we want and what we truly want, and I find it also important to say to that, this or something better. Because a lot of times what will materialize will be something better. Peg and I had very much in our minds when it was time to leave, we felt it was time to leave Virginia. We thought very much where, it was open, and this is probably going to be the future church and community, and it's right next to, we had Peg had a daughter who lives there, Austin, and I have a son, daughter-in-law, and 3 grandchildren who also live in Austin. So obvious, and Austin, I seemed like I was the leading candidate and all that. But then, after doing the trial weekend here, something really changed, and I really felt Spirit saying, come to SLC, and I think when we put that on, this or something better, we open up the possibilities that what we might wind up with is not what we originally intended, but it turns out that it was much better and much better suited, better suited for us. And I have just had a lot of really positive experiences with affirmative prayer, and I thought both Ian and Naomi on this Sunday for the season of nonviolence both of them did a great job, and both of them said, I just read a statement where praying for world leaders, and both of them said, I find that hard to do. To be honest with you, I find that hard to. I really honestly find that hard to do. But then I think it was Naomi who said, but when I start thinking about what I want instead of sitting around reviling and hating, something, it was much better. And I think affirmative prayer really helps us get into that mindset. I've also found journaling to be really important. I have found that there really is something to be said about when we write something down, as opposed to just think it or just say it. And it's useful, I find, also because you can go back to it and read it, like a year or two later, and in a lot of cases say, wow, I really do see some progress. I probably would have reacted this way or that way to this situation, a few years ago, and now my reaction, I can see I've been in a similar situation, and my reaction is different. So we start out, what was difficult, what's been difficult for you in prayer. And so we've already had several folks share about, real positive experiences from prayer and meditation. Anybody else, would like to share, a positive? And actually, Janet shared one last about the adoption, about the adoption of the child and prayer and meditation that way. So, positive experiences that you've had with prayer meditation. Yeah.
I had this Bible verse that stood me in good stead when my husband died, but I just wanted to read it again because it's so right on what we're saying. It says, oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Do not be, it's Philippians 4:6. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Jesus Christ. I think that.
And then following that comes the line, which is one of my favorite mantras, 4:13, which says, and I can do all things through Christ, through Spirit that strengthens me. I can do all things through Buddha nature well, Paul doesn't write that, but I can do all things through Buddha nature that strengthens me. So, thank you.
I realize that Unity didn't make affirmative prayer up.
No, and as a matter of fact, it's all, the line I usually use is from Mark, but in all the Gospels, Jesus says something to the equivalent of believe, when you pray, believe, and you shall receive. And the follow-up to that I really loved was Emmett Fox. Emmett Fox said that, to say thank you after you receive the gift, that's not faith, that's good etiquette, which is important. But to say thank you for the gift before you receive, that is true faith. And Charles Fillmore even goes one further. Charles Fillmore said that faith is the perceiving power of the mind the perceiving power of the mind to be able to shape substance. Whoa! That our prayers can have that impact in terms of shaping substance, which is, I find, really interesting. Ginger.
God does not give us a spirit of fear, but of the power of love, health, and of sound mind. I don't know how it goes exactly, but remember
2
in
Timothy.
Timothy,
Yeah.
God does not give us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind. Is that it?
That's it.
Yeah, that one. That was my favorite one. And I remember lay back on the everlasting arms of God.
And Peter said, cast all your fears upon him because he cares for you. Tuesday in our house, in our neighborhood, is you put out the garbage night. And so,
Shalom Havaree.
and so with prayer meditation, every night can be put out the garbage night.
Rakato
So.
Adonai. All right.
Anybody else?
I just want to mention.
Wait a minute, we have.
Oh,
No.
I have one.
you go.
What I find is, I guess a long time ago, my mother shared with me, pray without ceasing. And so I have a conversation all day long with God. I know I'm talking to God. I believe in God. I know that God is everywhere. So it doesn't matter where I am. I know that I'm immersed in God. So all day long, I'm having a conversation. Whatever it is I'm feeling, I say it out loud. Whatever it is I think I'd like to go to or like to do, I say it out loud. And it's when I'm quiet, and I find I'm quiet when I'm in my car. If I'm not listening to music, I'm quiet in my car, and I get so much information, so many answers coming right back to me, things that I talked about earlier in the day. When I have monkey mind going on, I do use a mantra to still myself, and it's simply be still and know I am God. And I say it over and over and over, and monkey mind can't talk when I'm saying that. And I even hear the tone of it, the depth of it, and I can hear it go all the way into my chest. And at some point, I don't know if it's just the letter or the tone of the letter G. Once I get there, it seems to take me into a meditative state. And so it's only when I'm quiet that I get the answers or recommendations, because we're not forced to do anything. Is when I hear all the answers to everything I have said. Sometimes I'm shouting, sometimes I'm crying, other times I'm just fussing, or I'm telling somebody off, or whatever it is, I share it openly. And during the course of the day, all my answers come to me. And so that's pretty much how I move. Also, Bejan mentioned following the breath. There are times when there are no words. I just simply feel myself breathing in and out deeply, whether it's shallow or not. Eventually, there's some rhythm that comes, and that rhythm can just take you into the silence. I find it very easy for me to go into the silence when I come here and listen to the meditations. At some point, I don't even feel myself in my chair. And when you don't feel yourself in your chair and you're not aware of your surroundings, I believe that's when I have gone into a deeper space. And I thank God for everything it is I'm interested in having or doing. When I get ready to get in my car, if I'm walking out the door, I start thanking God for the divine protection, because I know I'm going somewhere. And I know that God is with me, but I'm not asking God to protect me. I'm thanking God for that protection. I'm always thanking God for everything, because, as you said, it's polite to say it ahead of time. I'm not waiting for it to happen. I'm thanking God ahead of time. And last week when I was on my way over here, I was making a right turn. I was in the third lane, so I would have been entering the third lane on the next road. I looked up. I didn't see anything. I made my turn. And then all of a sudden, in my peripheral, or in my 9 feet of aura, this car was coming so fast. When I saw it, I was like, oh my God. And I remember nothing for a moment. I don't know how I ended up switching places with this car. But and it was just quick seconds. I knew that was not my time. God said, not now, because this man was over here and I was over here, and I looked over there. We were at the same light, but how we switched places and when we switched places, and I was not hit. I don't know if it went through me, or I can't explain it, but I just know that it happened. So I thank God for that intervention, because I knew before I leave home, I've thanked God for the protection. And so I don't know how to explain it. It's just that all day long I'm talking to God, as if, and God is right here next to me, or sitting right in between the two of us. All this matter, all this invisible is God. But just to put it into perspective, it's almost like God sitting right here in the flesh, listening to me, carry on, whatever I'm saying. And then when I stop, not right away, but soon I can hear my answers. So that's what I like to share.
So much.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. What comes to me is just a couple lines from a Catholic hymn that I used to sing, just like it goes, "Be not afraid, I go before you always. Come follow me, and I will give you rest." And I find that soothing if I'm feeling anxious about something. So if there are no more shares in the moment, then I guess, Reverend Rick.
Let's get Chance. All right, then let's just center a moment. I'm going to suggest we use the meditation that Ellen Davenport puts at the end of Principle 4, because I think it's really good. Let's take a deep breath in. Slowly let it out. Close our eyes if we feel comfortable doing so. In the stillness of my heart, I turn to God within. In my heart, I know my oneness with the divine. In my heart, I fear nothing, want nothing, lack nothing. In my heart, I rest in the awareness of God's unyielding presence, and I take pleasure in our communion. My soul is the divine. My higher self is my access to God, the Christ in me. I am an opening for God on the earth, and I let divine light, love flow through me into the world. I surrender this, and I surrender to this knowing, to this purpose, and to this blessing that floods my being as I allow the flow of Spirit in and through me. Myrtle Fillmore wrote, "Spirit intends you to be a radiating center that will draw to you whatever you need to be well and strong, successful and prosperous." And with these thoughts, we gladly go into the silence. Thank you for that power of prayer and meditation that is open to us 24/7. And we say that wonderful prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you so much.